So this demo is going to be a little bit different than what I've done before because it's going to be a little bit of a story about one of the first times I ever really learned about any kind of chemistry. Okay? Because this is a story about this guy. That's my grandfather. Passed away 2 years ago. His name's Andre. We called him Pepe. And Pepe didn't have an education. He went through maybe 5th grade, 6th grade, and he was born in Quebec, moved here, came and lived over in Winooski, started a family, made a business, fixed appliances. The guy could fix anything. And he taught himself basically electrical engineering. He knew circuits, he knew how to do everything. And when I was about 13, my cousin and I went and spent the summer living up on the lake with him. And we lived out in the trailer. Well, my grandmother and he were in the camp. And let me tell you, the smell in the trailer was horrible. 2 13-year-old boys. But, we were helping him around the camp. And I remember specifically one day, I was using some of his tools and I left one of the tools outside and it rained and it was out there for a good week or so. And he found it and, like I said, he's from Quebec, had a very, very thick accent. He goes, "Mon Dieu, Travis, my tool, it's ruined. Okay, come on, we go fix it now." And so he took the rusty tool and it was just rusted completely shut. You couldn't open it. And so we went inside the house and we got washing soda, which is sodium carbonate, okay? So, that's upside down. So it's sodium carbonate, but that's not what he called it. Because like I said, he's from Quebec. And in Quebec, they called it croustique de soude, okay? But like I said, very thick French accent. He didn't speak English all that well. Honestly, he didn't speak French all that well. He spoke what we call Winooski French. So for years, I thought that washing soda was called crusty soda. I would go in the store, "Hey, do you have any crusty soda?" People would be like, "What are you talking about?" He used to love doing that to people. He would just come up with names for things that nobody else knew what they were called. And he used to prank people doing it. He thought it was the funniest thing in the world. So we went inside. We got the washing soda, sodium carbonate, and we just threw a little bit in. Don't need much. A couple of teaspoons. And he would never have worn safety glasses. Would not have happened. Now, in the demos that we do here, normally, as a scientist, you would expect me to use, a big, expensive power source to power an electric reaction, right? We're talking about Pepe here. Pepe used to use drywall screws to fix everything. This is actually his battery charger. I may have stolen most of his stuff after he died. It's good. That's what he would say all the time. It's good. Don't throw that away. So, what you want to do to fix the tools when your grandfather's mad at you, which happened more than I care to admit, is you're going to take a piece of sacrificial metal. It can be a piece of iron. In this case, it's a piece of zinc. Zinc's very reactive. And you're going to hook it up to your positive lead, which is the red one. Okay? Then you're going to take your tool and you're going to hook up the tool to the negative lead and put it in there. And now we're going to plug it in and make sure that none of the electrical contacts are touching each other, because that's when things go pop. And that's when Pepe gets really mad, because you wrecked his tools. So we're going to plug it in. Starting to go. You see the bubbles? Unfortunately, this tool isn't that rusty, because I learned to take care of my tools real fast. There we go. So if a tool is frozen shut, you let it sit like that for an hour, and it's going to open right up. Now this one right here, I actually grabbed for my garage this morning because it was frozen shut. Half an hour. So anyway, that's something I learned from my grandfather. So, okay, bubbles are cool, right? Just say yes.
Yes.
Okay. But now I'm going to show you something really cool. So I'm going to go press that button and that button. And then go back to here. And go press that button there. Okay. Now something you guys probably may not expect is I am a picky eater. I hate pickles with a passion. I think, who here likes pickles? Raise your hand. Okay, if you like pickles, you automatically fail the course. Pickles are the grossest thing in the world to me. I hate the smell. I hate the taste. So I have created what I call my pickle torture device. So what I do is I load the pickle into the pickle torture device. And I stab the pickle with a couple of electrodes. Now the mad genius who designed this is really cool. It was me. So we load the pickle into the pickle. Sorry?
I didn't say.
Oh.
It looks like the little guy with the SpongeBob.
Oh yeah, I can see that. So then we hook the electrodes up. And you notice we have the anti-pickle jar. And it has two settings. We make sure it's on safe. We then plug it in to a 110 volt outlet. It is 220 volt compatible with an adapter. We then are about to run 110 volts through a pickle. The pickle contains salts. Now, we saw before that when we ran a current through an electrolyte solution, right? We had a positive and negative current, bubbles formed. Do you guys think bubbles are going to form?
No. Well, they're kind of. They're going to form inside the pickle and then bubbles escape out.
So you think bubbles are going to start coming out?
No. Gas will escape.
It'll be a little more violent, but...
Okay, you guys ready?
Yes.
Let's do a countdown. 5,
4,
3, 2, 1.
Die, pickle! I hate pickles. Now, that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's always the question, can you eat it?
old ass pickles. Don't do that. Oh no.
Pickles?
I think he's gonna.
What kind of monster are you? I just said you would fail the course. Anyway, that's how you fry a pickle.